welcome.
Yeah.
I'm Christine Chen, and I am a senior consultant at La Piana Consulting, and we're celebrating our 25th anniversary this year. And for the occasion, we're talking to some clients and former clients that we respect and who are doing things a little differently so that we can help others in the field learn from what they're doing and anticipate future trends. So we're excited to welcome both of you, Leslie and Allie from Rung for Women. Leslie Gill is the president and Allie Hogan is the founder and board chair, which we'll get into in a little bit. But first, by way of introduction, Leslie, can you kick us off and let us know a little bit more about the work that you do?
Rung for Women is a career accelerator for women. We're based in St. Louis, Missouri, and our focus is really to help more women attain a level of wealth through a variety of high priority career pathways. And those careers are careers that will have growth potential here in our region. And so we're really matching our participants, we call them members. We're matching members with these career pathways where women have traditionally been underrepresented, careers that don't require a bachelor's degree, so those middle skill jobs, and jobs that won't be obsolete or automated in the next 5 to 10 years, and career pathways that have growth potential. So we are really focused on careers in technology, geospatial, advanced manufacturing, and getting more women into those fields. And we are sort of on the tail end of completion of our strategic planning process with La Piana. Really great for us as an organization to be able to do that work early in our life cycle to really put us on a path, I think, to long-term success. So often you find that, organizations, especially newer organizations, don't do strategic planning until they're much more mature because you're sort of building and flying at the same time. And so I'm really grateful that our board and our board chair saw the value in us doing this exercise now, which is ultimately going to help us chart our path forward with really good guardrails so that we don't squirrel on everything, which is can be a challenge, but now we have our strategy screen and other tools that really help us be super strategic about our growth and our future. So we've loved working with La Piana. Such a, it was really quite a quick process, but really meaningful and purposeful. And I think it got us to where we need to be fairly quickly. So I'll stop there and see if Allie has anything to add.
We wanted to go to other cities and we wanted to do all these big things. And then it's like, whoa, why don't we get the model right before we start thinking that way? So it's been scary and it's been fast, but it's wonderful.
A lot of organizations don't invest in strategy and innovation until they have to do a strategic plan. It was a learning curve for me because, I have a tendency to think about innovation constantly, thinking about growth constantly. And so to now have, like I said, in the strategy screen, a tool that gives us very clear sort of questions to ask and very clear direction on what fits and what doesn't, I think just actually makes me a better leader.
And I want to shift a little to Allie because you're the founder and the chair, and so often, in our line of work in consulting, we see the founder syndrome so often, and the not letting go, or strained relationships between a founder and or board chair and the executive director or president. So often you see that tension. So how can other founders learn from you, Allie, and how you've navigated the change?
Understand that you don't know how to do everything and you're not as smart as sometimes you think you are. So you have to hire people and surround yourself with people who are smarter than you in all the ways that you're not. And I think when you give into that humility of there's a power dynamic, there's an ego involved. And if you can put all that aside and be like, I'm going to get further faster if I'm doing it with people and not 2 people. You know, Leslie and I are both dreamers. Then we have other people on the leadership team that are the opposite, and that's what we need.
It was her vision, but I certainly have felt a sense of ownership in bringing it to life for her. And so that trust was established really early on. I think we carry that philosophy through how we lead the organization, how our team sees Allie's presence, how they see us working together. It's a dynamic that I've never had before in leading other nonprofits, but it seems to work really well. Yeah.
Allie, was it scary for you to let go?
I think for me, my biggest struggle with this whole thing has been like what my role is, because it is a unique situation. I want to be here every day, but I don't really have a job title, at least an operational one. So like sometimes I feel left out if I don't know, the inner workings of what's going on, or we've changed something in the, agenda that I didn't know about, or we changed something in what we're teaching. And like, sometimes I get a little hurt about that. But I also realized that like, that's not my job. And the great thing about Leslie and I and the whole leadership team, honestly, is that they will look at me and they will be like, this isn't your lane. Like, we need you to stay in your lane. Your lane is XYZ. Your lane is relationships. Your lane is the board. Your lane is strategy, whatever it may be. Please stay out of the operations. You don't know what you're talking about. Like, and we can have that kind of relationship.
We don't ever say you don't know what you're talking about. You always know what you're talking about.
But even if you did, I would accept it because they're not wrong. I mean, it's more, for me, it's more just curiosity, like what's going on? What's the gossip? What's happening? What do we think about this person? How are they doing? And so if I try to get too involved, I'm actually doing more harm than good. So I just have to let people do what they want to do. So I definitely have moments. I struggle with boundaries. I definitely have moments with the staff where like, I just want to be everybody's friend, but I also understand that that's not really my role. But like, that's kind of where I struggle more on an emotional level with the letting go piece, but it's what's best for the organization.
One other area that we're paying attention to in terms of watching for the future and what's going to disrupt for the next 25 years is tech. And that's pretty much at the heart of your work. So can you talk a little bit more about like how you're navigating both the opportunities and the threats
in technology? Yeah. So much of what we're focused on is getting women trained for these roles in technology, especially geospatial, which is going to have a huge growth spurt here in our region. We're never going to like automate our people. They're not going to turn into robots. And as much as, some days with the people issues, I love to have more robots. Not gonna happen. But our work is really head and heart, and so we still want to create spaces for women to gather and convene and be around like-minded women so that they can advance and grow both personally and professionally. Talking about women who are culturally positioned as caretakers, caregivers, parents, all of the professionals, technologists, whatever the title may be, but at the center of it, they're still people and they're still human beings. And, this, especially post-COVID for women, this sense of community has been so critically important because so many women lived in isolation during that 2 to 3 year period. And they're now coming out and they're yearning for connection.
There aren't a lot of women in technology because it's never really been presented to them like this before. And so women tend to fall back into these certain kinds of jobs. And for us, one of the promises we've made to our members is like, we're also partnering with these companies, but we're partnering with these companies and with the understanding that they will treat you a certain way to which we deem acceptable. So like, if you're going to go work for these companies, we know you're going to be paid an equal and respectable wage. We know you're going to be treated well in the workplace. And I think that gives women the extra boost to try to get into these jobs where they are male dominated. But now that we're getting into tech and we're seeing how many different, it's not just about like coding and programming. I mean, when you think about like cybersecurity, or you think about working at companies like Edward Jones or, any of these companies, they all have technology.
Yep.
So it's really like opening a new world to them. And it's exciting to see them opt into it.
I just remember like when we first started thinking about geospatial, none of us knew what geospatial was. Like, we had just been hearing about NGA, you know, and having a footprint in St. Louis, but like none of us really knew what it was. There's geospatial technology in your smartphone, and all of the apps you use, DoorDash and Uber.
Like, so you've got, yeah, like geospatial, you've got, we went, advanced manufacturing is something we're working on. Well, we don't even know what it is. Then we go and we tour these advanced manufacturing companies and we see like the unbelievable artistry that comes behind it, and the amount of thought and talent and, you know, what it takes. And like, I had no idea what advanced manufacturing was. And now when we talk about it with these members, it's like, we're excited because I'm like, I would love to build an airplane. Like, these jobs are possible for everybody.
I mean, we never growing up, you know, as girls and as women, like no one ever talked to me about making things. It was always like, oh, go take care of people, be a teacher, be a nurse, go into a helping profession or a service industry. You know, because of occupational segregation, those were the things that we were pushed into. But now you see there's a whole world of opportunity. Like, everything is tech, everything is automated. So much of it is rooted in technology, even in these new industries. So I just feel really fortunate to be like on the cutting edge of a space where we can provide exposure and opportunity for women who have maybe never thought of these careers, right? And we're doing it in a way that makes it fun and cool and brings community, so that they go in believing that they're supposed to be there, right? And they're not just relegated to these careers of, you know, generations of the past.
I mean, the beauty of Rung is that we can go wherever we want. I mean, this, like with the help of La Piana, like going in this direction where we're not just saying to women, like, you can do whatever you want to do and we're going to make it happen, was very scary, but it's exciting. These women we're working with have kids that are now watching their moms do this. And it's like, this is already creating generational impact just when you talk to the kids.
We're going to always find room for joy and laughter and fun, but we're going to set a high standard for ourselves and others.